No. The new manager got rid of it. You're, I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you this, but there's no Cato Jam this year, and it's your senior year.
It is my senior year.
Let's Cato Jam.
Just like the best jam around.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically a lot of music, and
It is.
It's over
It's
in
very
College
fun.
Town. And
Yeah.
It's known as an event and stuff to everybody at the university, and like it's just
like
a
a
lot of
known
fun.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's going wild over it. There's no Cato Jam.
My God.
Yeah. Confirmed.
I need to message some people right now.
I was gonna say you need to tell
Change it
everybody.
now.
Yeah, I was gonna say tell them
Change
the
it now.
news. The news.
The news.
I am the
Before it's too
news.
I am oh my gosh.
Now we know which has new business.
This. Sorry.
Well, because I haven't been on my phone in a few hours, and I just looked and like everybody's posting about it.
Well,
Because then people message their
hopefully
Instagram.
The spring semester.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Mhm.
It better be.
Well, because then people message their Instagram and they were just like, hey, like, by now that's usually announced, you know? And they're
Yeah.
just like, well, we're not announcing it because we're not doing it.
I literally said I wasn't going to go last year.
Because he has access to our office. You can get in there and y'all can load t-shirts and help get ready for stuff.
Oh, it's all of us now. Oh, the party's gotten bigger.
One box or a box and a half. We give some
Really?
orientation next summer. The rest, give them away. And if they're already left, bring them back. Okay?
Oh, it's still on me. Wow. Look at it. Oh, even bigger on me. Slowly pans out and cut back to me. And cut back to me. Come on, Robert. Bring it back in.
Yes.
I think he might actually be able to hear because of that microphone right there.
You can still take your seat, and then when you open it up, you just
Cut back to me. If you can hear me, do not have me on camera doing the meeting. Or as little as possible.
Yeah, I would.
You know what?
Everyone can take a seat. I call us to order at 4:01 p.m. We'll proceed onwards to roll call. Senator Hart.
Here.
Senator Henson.
Here.
Senator Kissam.
Here.
Sarah Frawley. Sarah Frawley. Sarah Ali.
Here.
Senator Sharaf.
Here.
Senator Waldo Kaiden.
Here.
Sarah Ziti. Sarah Nguyen. Sarah Bryant.
Here.
Sarah Aisha. Sarah Aisha. Senator Kanza. Senator Goma.
Here.
Senator Mohammed.
Here.
Sarah Aladeji.
Here.
Sarah Lystico.
Here.
Sarah Andrew.
Here.
Sarah Veer.
Here.
Senator Godswell.
Here.
Sarah Bahanu. Senator Bahanu. Senator Parikh. Senator Narala. Senator Ja.
Here.
Senator Speltz.
Here.
Senator Brockerman.
Present.
Did I say that correctly?
Beckerman. They're all
Beckerman.
silent.
And Senator Colleran.
Here.
Did I say that correctly?
Color in.
Colleran. Thank you. Speaker Roberts. Here. President Reuter.
Here.
Vice President Mesta.
Here.
Alrighty. We will proceed onwards to the approval of consent agenda. Is there any dissent? Any dissent? Any dissent? Then with no dissent, the consent agenda is passed. We'll proceed onwards to approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Motion, is there a second? Second? Is there any dissent? Then the minutes are approved. We'll proceed onwards to presentations. There are no presentations this week. We'll go onwards to open forum. Is there anyone for open forum today? Senator Revere.
First off, I'd like to state I'm not here as a senator. I'm here as a student. And forgive me if I seem a little off. I just got out of surgery, so I'm still technically impaired. but I want to bring to you guys attention while still fresh an issue that issue that not only I experience in this governing body, but also in the classroom. So, here we go. Sorry. I stand here today to address an issue that strikes at the very heart of our democratic values and the essence of academic freedom. Last week, I personally experienced an incident of censorship that left me concerned about the state of discourse in our university community. During senator vacancies, when I posed a simple yet important question to our new senators, it was quickly struck down. The reasons given was for potential personal bias. But isn't questioning and engaging with different perspectives the very essence of a thriving academic environment? For centuries, universities have stood as bastions for free thought, intellectual growth, and critical exploration. They have been the epicenter of open debate, challenging of beliefs, and the nurturing of new ideals. Scholars from all walks of life will gather within halls resembling the ones I stand in today to engage in fearless pursuit of knowledge, unafraid of discomfort or disagreement. Yet it is demoralizing to witness that the spirit of free inquiry is under assault. The fear of divergent opinions could be strangling the very foundation of academic institutions. In the words of Dr. Keeman Brewston Jr., an eminent American educator and diplomat, universities should be safe havens where ruthless examinations will not be distorted by the aim to please or inhibited by the risk of displeasure. These words echo the sentiments shared by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who in a letter to Dr. Brewster found renowned courage and vigor to carry on the struggle to make the American dream a reality. Today, I encourage our student government to uphold the cherished values of academia, to foster an environment where ideals can flourish and thrive, and where the exchange of differing viewpoints is not only welcome, but celebrated. We must stand vigilant against censorship to ensure not only academic institutions, but our democracy remains unencumbered by the fear of opposing views. Let us remember that it is through respectful debate and free exchange of ideals that we can truly grow both as individuals and as a society. I call upon you to ensure, give me a second. I call upon you to ensure that our university remains a beacon of intellectual diversity, a place where the pursuit of truth stands unwavering against the currents of conformity. Together, we can uphold the very foundations of freedom and build a stronger, more inclusive Minnesota State University. Thank you. Oh, wait. In closing, astronauts. In closing, I want to emphasize that each one of you, although you may not be consciously aware of it yet, are on the front lines, boots on the ground. And if you disagree with anything I just stated, you are on the opposing side of freedom and are encouraging the very destruction of our democracy and the values of academia. Last week's incident may appear insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but remember, droplets of water erodes the mightiest mountains. Thank you.
Does Senator Revere have any wish to respond to questions already?
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other points for open forum? Any other points for open forum? Seeing no points for open forum, we will proceed onwards to officer reports, beginning off with President Reuter.
Awesome. Well, welcome back, everybody. Third week of school. Hopefully it's going well for y'all. Today we had a meeting with President Inch, both Vice President Mesta and I. We got to talk about our push for student wages, to continue looking at how we can increase those and continue supporting our students, as well as we talked about, so sorry, just lost my spot. We talked about the new Armstrong building and the current spot they're at. They're looking at architects and bringing in people. And then we also discussed different ways to help improve sustainability on campus, as well as started talking about budget stuff and how we're gonna start working on that for next semester and all of those fun things. Tomorrow we have meet and confer, so it'll be, that's where we meet with all the vice presidents and President Inch, as well as a few other people to talk about different issues that cover the entire campus. So we'll be talking about that. And then on Friday, I'll be at an alumni board meeting where we get to help the alumni connect with students more. So we get to talk about different events that they can put on or different ways they can support students here and now. Because they were students once and they want to continue supporting us, which is really exciting. On last Monday, I don't remember if I talked about this, but I went to the Residence Hall Association General Assembly. And today I got told that they are seeing even higher involvement in the res halls and in their community councils, which is really good to see. And that's like the res hall student government and stuff. So that's awesome to hear. And then wanted to let you all know, March 20th. I want you all to write that date down. March 20th is going to be the budget hearing, and we're going to meet at 2 p.m. So you need to be there. That is one of the biggest responsibilities as a senator. It's where we talk about the student fees and how we're going to do our recommendation. That gets moved on to Vice President Jones and the president. And you will be given excuse letters for any classes. However, also attempt to make sure to let your job know that you'll be out of work, or let anybody who needs to know that you will be here for that meeting. Otherwise, that's really all I've got.
Are there any questions for President Royger? Senator Godswell?
When you talked about student wage, do you consider international student wage?
Yep.
President, I'm an international student, and I know with my personal experience, I've worked with the Dining Center for 3 years, and I've put it to you that on campus, your student get paid $12.50, but the Dining Center, you guys last $10, and you do the same work as the regular worker, if not more.
Am I okay to respond?
Yes, you may respond.
Okay. So we did talk about that and the discrepancy between the dining center minimum wage and campus minimum wage. Unfortunately, when the contract was done with the dining center, it didn't include campus minimum wage. However, we did make it known that with the process starting up for the next contract, we expect it to be in there so that students across campus are able to continue getting that support with the increased wages. So it'll for sure be in, or hopefully be in the next one. That's really as far as we got with today. We didn't have a whole lot of time.
I just have one more. I don't know if it's
Yep, Senator Godswell?
I know when I talked about the minimum wage, it's more affecting an international student than a domestic student, because currently with the contract they have with the school, whether it's included or not, as a domestic student, if you get a job at the international office, you get paid irregular pay as a worker. But as an international student, your pay get cut, which I feel it's cheat and a slap to the face to the international student. So that is my concern, because I know the domestic students are certain, not that I don't care about them or I'm not concerned about them, but the situation when it comes to the pay is settled. But more what I just want you to look at is the international student, because as a domestic student, like I stated earlier, you get your regular pay. But as an international student like myself, you get nothing to peanut, if I'm being honest with you.
Yes, you may respond.
How about you and I have a chat, because I would love to hear more about that and get to know a little bit more information.
Sure.
So that we can go forward with stuff.
Sure. Thank you.
Awesome.
Senator Kunstler?
And I'm doing that talk too.
Yeah.
I think I have some.
Senator Contra?
Actually, early this week, I had a meeting with the Student Health Services Director, and I have presented my project in front of her related to healthcare. And she told that the idea is very good, but we don't have enough budget. So, how to proceed with that? Because how to present my idea, which I have presented her, and she appreciated it. So now what to do next? She told I can keep my words here, and I can do some presentation related to that, so that some budget might be sanctioned for it. So it's actually for student mental health and stress level project.
think that would be another great conversation, that if we could talk a little bit more so we can get more details and learn a little bit more information, I think that would be really good to work with.
Should I copy my project or should I present it?
Okay. You can just, if you want to stay after and we can find a time to meet and stuff, so thank you.
Are there any other questions for President Reuger? Any other questions? Alrighty, then we'll proceed onwards to Vice President Masta's report.
Hi everyone, just a reminder, this Saturday we have the football game that we are tabling for. Please, for anybody that's signed up, please attend. This is going to be around 3 o'clock till probably 5, right before the game starts. Outside of that, part of that too is Amal will be the contact person for the football game. So she will be contacting you, anybody that signed up from our last meeting. Other updates too from the expanding on the president meeting that we had today. We talked about transfer and trying to how to fix that process so that people who come to this college have a much more easier way to be able to graduate faster, because I think sometimes an issue I've seen is some people, like myself, have taken a longer route to graduate outside of the 4-year expectation. Other things too is the accessibility fee, sustainability fee, sorry. That one, we're going to be kind of trying to communicate with environmental committee, other groups to try to see how that fee can work in the long term to kind of support a lot of the more sustainable issues on campus. So that's creating like the busing service, that's trying to create solar panels to save energy costs, and then also like any renewable things on campus too. So those are some things that we've talked with President Inch.
Are there any questions for Vice President Mesta? Senator Sharaf?
I just wanted to add on about the tabling on Saturday. We have tabling 3 to 6 p.m. and I'm just going to read all of the names for the senators who sign up. It's Victor, myself, Trinity, Hunza, Kusum, Francesca, Abigail, Sion, Kashaki, and Nini.
Are there any other questions? Senator Godswell?
When you talked about the bus route, you said you're meeting with the president. I just have a few questions, and I was just wondering, does that include like extending the time the bus, run around town? Because I don't know, for people like me being an off-campus senator and I live off-campus myself, there are certain times the bus stop and which affect students that live off-campus, and I've had students brought that up as a concern. So are you going to be including that when you talk about the bus route?
So for the bus route, can I speak on this?
Yes.
For the bus routes, that's a separate discussion. That's more focused on the allocations we get from the city and the allocations we put in to the busing routes. It's been a bit of an issue because the city will increase the fees, and that means it's harder to keep routes. But that's always a discussion we're trying to create is how do we support students who live off campus to make it here? The fee, specifically the sustainability fee, is to move the busing to its own fee outside of the student activities fee. So we're trying to move it over.
So like it stays on its own with different fee, I'm trying to understand.
It puts into the sustainability fee.
Okay.
Do you yield?
Yeah.
And with the sustainability fee too, it's working on different initiatives to make sure we're reducing our carbon footprint. But with the buses, it would help support, I forgot the word for it, but it would support making sure that students are able to ride the bus so that they don't have to drag vehicles and each individual student is having to drive a car to campus, and it would just help support more of the busing and the bus routes and stuff. But with the bus route conversation, that's a slightly different conversation that you and I could also talk about.
So I think we can have a conversation about that. I would just recommend, so let's meet about that because that's always a topic of discussion.
Thank you.
Senator Leisterkamp?
Yeah, tabling, do you gotta be there the full 3 to 6, or if I have something going on, can you pick up a little early?
I mean, if you have something going on, if you can help, that's awesome. So we're not gonna like say you have to be there at the full amount, just if you can help, please be there and help out. And if you need to dip early or you can only be there for an hour, that's fine. I would recommend meeting in the student activities building, because we're gonna get, that's where all the t-shirts are. So graciously, Mark Constantine is going to provide his truck to load all the t-shirts over to the football stadium. So we'll be meeting in the student activities office.
Are there any other questions for Vice President Mesta? Any other questions? Seeing no further questions, we'll go on to my report. So first off, if you haven't done the Senate onboarding form on Mav Central, please go ahead and get on to Mav Central and go ahead and fill that out if you haven't done so already. And if you also haven't filled out your committee interest, please fill that out as well. And both of them are on Mav Central. You also have access. For the new senators, we can get you access after this meeting. In case I believe you have access, but just in case you don't, we can double check that. Make sure that you are, for all of the new folks, make sure that you try to schedule a meeting with the three of us to talk about projects, or if you want to talk about anything training related, especially the new senators, so we can talk about how do you do this and a few little guiding tips to help you succeed in all of your rules. So please go ahead and schedule a meeting. I believe President Royer sent out an email the other day about getting some meetings scheduled up so we can all talk about different issues that are important to you. And then one last announcement, and this is more on a somber note. My grandfather passed away over this Labor weekend. So Vice President Mesta and the second week of October will be chairing the meeting while I'm away for the memorial service. With that being said, are there any questions for me? Senator Becker.
I was just going to ask, for setting up a meeting, how would be the best way to set that up?
You can just send me an email.
Okay.
Senator Mohammed.
A comment. I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Seeing none, we will proceed onwards to the Dean of the Day, which I did not receive from Amber, but I believe it is Dahlman.
I'm the Dahlman Associate Provost, just saying hi, thank you for your service. Seems like you're busy with your student projects and trying to help us solve all kinds of issues on campus. Thank you for your leadership. And happy to answer any questions if you have any. I work with the Provost on academic affairs budgets, personnel, all types of strategic initiatives. That's what I do.
Are there any questions for Dean Dahlman? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We sadly do not have a resource of the day, but we will next week. We do not have any senator reports, so we will proceed onwards to vacancies. We do have a vacancy for off-campus senator. We have 3 slots available. Is there anyone here who is running for the off-campus senator spot?
I am.
Perfect. Is there anyone else? Alrighty, perfect. If you can make your way up to the podium. And if you can just state your name and if you are comfortable with it, your pronouns for the Senate.
My name is Emily. I also go by Emma. Last name is Dietrich. I use she, her pronouns.
Alrighty. So how this works is that you will have 2 minutes for an opening statement to the Senate. So you'll be able to say whatever you want to say about your position or why you're running or any of those introductory elements that you wish to share. You'll be granted up to 2 minutes whenever you are ready.
First of all, thank you all for allowing me to be here and to speak with you. I am a off-campus student, of course, but I'm also a non-traditional student. I'm actually 31 years old. I turned 31 this July. So I think I could bring a lot to this round-ish table. Not only with the wisdom that comes with age, but a perspective that maybe some of the students here haven't had the opportunity to explore yet. I'm also a student with disabilities, and so I feel like I represent several different sectors of the student body, and I think I could use my skills that I've developed over numerous different leadership types of programs that I did all the way back in high school, as well as job experience. I have been manager at different jobs and trained and led people at my current job as well. But I think I could bring a lot to this established student government here. Yeah.
Perfect. The next step of this is that senators may ask questions of you. You, of course, always have the right to decline any of the questions. And this is just as a note, I meant to say this last time, but if there's anything that leads to personal bias, otherwise risk of discrimination because of many elements of employment law and avoiding elements of lawsuit, there's a reason that if those were to come up that I may strike the question. This is not to say that your voice doesn't matter in that situation. Your voice absolutely matters. It's just protecting the will of the Senate. With that being said, is there any questions for the candidate? Any questions? Any questions? Senator Speltz.
What hobbies do you have?
Oh, geez. Okay. First of all, I love books, video games. Let's see. I keep fish, so you know, aquariums and such like that. Let's see. I'm really into crafts. I also I'm into board games too. I'm just like, you know, I tend to be kind of a, you know, I'll kind of do what, you know, everybody else is doing, and pretty content doing most things, to be honest. So I do keep track of local politics and, you know, state and global. Keeping up to date and having discussions with people about current affairs. It's interesting to me as well.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Seeing none, then you have 1 minute for a closing statement.
Let's see. What I didn't, I think, say before is that the reason I want to be a part of student government is I feel like with my experience, not only as a non-traditional student and an off-campus student and a student with disabilities, that, you know, I can make an impact in the lives of those types of students better than I could not as a member of the student government. Making sure that I'm bringing up issues that they may have that the senators here may not already know about, and then just using my voice to further advocate for them.
Thank you. I'll always offer this opportunity while we are discussing your fate. You may stay in the room,
Okay.
or you can go outside of the room.
I'll stay. It's fine.
Perfect. So if you would like to take a seat in the gallery. Are there any discussion points on the candidate? Any discussion points? Senator Ali?
I would like to vote in the candidate. I think they have an impressive point of view that we will need at this table.
Vice President Mesta?
Yeah, hearing from the candidate, I think she provides a lot of experience and understanding that we don't really have in our student government, that non-traditional student perspective and accessibility. I think is another aspect that we kind of don't always bring to the table. And I think that's something that's really important. So I would support yes in voting for them.
Senator Sharab?
I believe that we do not have a lot of non-traditional students in this university, but they are who actually want to participate in student government. I know a couple. They're busy for that. But I think that this is also a population in this university, and we need a representative here. So I'm voting for the candidate. I believe it's going to be a good perspective for us, and we can make some changes.
Are there any other discussion points? Any other discussion points? Then we will proceed onwards to voting. So if you all can tear off a sheet, hopefully by next week I will have an experimental digital election sheet for these elections. But for this, you can vote yes, no, or abstain.
I have the side speaker.
Sure you did.
We still have the bylaw. Depends if anyone brings. Pertaining to
Is there anyone online who did not get to vote? Anyone online? Is there anyone online who has not voted? Cool, if not, then voting's closed. Alrighty, we've had an election, so if you would like to go up to the front of the room. So we've had an election for an off-campus senator vacancy, and we'd like to congratulate you on being elected a senator. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Emily Dietrich,
will represent and serve
will represent and serve
the students of Minnesota State University Mankato
the students of Minnesota
Minnes-
State University Mankato
in student life
in student life
and academic needs,
and academic needs,
and uphold the mission,
and uphold the mission,
Constitution,
Constitution,
and bylaws
and bylaws
of the student government.
of the student government.
I so affirm.
I so affirm.
Congratulations. You may take a seat at the table.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Is there any vacancies here running for residential life senator? Is there anyone here for Res Life Senator? Seeing none, there is one vacancy left for Res Life and 2 vacancies left for off campus. We'll proceed onwards to new business. There is no new business today. So we'll proceed onwards to old business. And we do have the bylaws update amendment. Motion by Vice President Mesta and seconded by Senator Narala. Emily, you might want to get yourself next to a computer so you can see the resolution. Unfortunately, I cannot send it over to you at this very moment. With that being said, Vice President Mesta, do you wish to speak on your motion?
Yes. So pertaining to the bylaw resolution, again, the main goal is to create the coordinator, basic needs coordinator position to make it an official position. It's also to encourage more accountability. So part of it's what we created last year was a lot of decisions, but it was not in place. So part of that is updating the job descriptions for the coordinators. The DEI coordinator was a 2-sentence job description. So we really wanted to make sure that a lot of our coordinators had more of a handle of what their roles are expected to be versus, oh, it's something. We may chair our own committee. And another part too is creating that hierarchy structure. So like what I said, if the 3 of us go on vacation, we don't come back, there is a set in stone place. And then I know the other one was the encouraged to required. Again, when it comes to the DEI, it's making sure that a lot of our groups are able to make the time to attend one event, to have a different perspective. It's getting out of your comfort zone. And it's one event per semester. And it could be an hour, it could be 30 minutes. Our goal is just to create that space so that our Senate can have that equity that we need. And so that's why I put it as required for 1 hour. So I think that was one of the discussions that we had last week and in our committee meeting. So I just wanted to bring that out there again. But I'll yield to our second.
I think the Vice President has mentioned everything that he could. I would yield to any discussion points or questions.
Are there any questions on the bylaw amendment? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing no questions, we'll proceed onwards to discussion points. Are there any discussion points on the bylaw amendment? Any discussion points? Any discussion points? Seeing no discussion points, we will immediately proceed. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Senator Goma?
Can I ask the question to someone? Can I ask it directly to someone?
Yes, there's a way we can do that.
Okay,
Go ahead and ask.
Senator Noguera, we just talked in a committee earlier about some changes we want to see in the amendment. So what about those changes? Will it be in the bylaw?
It would have to be, so are we talking about the recommendations in terms of language?
Yes.
Or
And also the one to add more events, like more, yes.
It would have to be brought forth as a language amendment. It could either be done today, or if the senators are willing to bring it forward later on, that would have to be brought forward by you.
Thank you.
Are there any other discussion points? Any other discussion points? Senator Goswell?
I have a question, but it hasn't. Maybe I'll just see it and ask some question. I just wanted to ask if you have a concern, how do you bring it to the table? That's what I was gonna ask.
Oh, are you asking about the physical resolution itself?
Yeah.
The physical resolution was digitally emailed to you, so you should have access to it right now on your computer. Senator Aladeji?
So regarding what Senator Gomez said in suggestion for the bylaws. So the conclusion we had in the community, in the affairs committee meeting that we had. So is this open for a further discussion between I and you and the Vice President as we discussed there to further pipe into the situation, or what is this stand at?
Vice President Mesto?
So I think the main thing is we don't have a written language for that piece. So I think this is something we would want to come back to again, to write the language, so that we can bring it back to Senate. I think that's what because otherwise we would spend, I don't know how long writing the language for it. So we don't have a written language yet, from our understanding from our committee meeting. So I think we would just come back to this. So I think it might be better if we work on this after Senate or another time so that we can kind of figure out the language.
Are there any further discussion points? Further discussion points? Then we have concluded this on old business and we will go into a voting procedure. Oh, sorry, Senator Ziti? Yeah, sorry. Then we will proceed onwards into a voting procedure on this. As this is an amendment, this requires a higher threshold of 2/3 to pass. So, please raise your hands if you are voting in affirmation to the bylaw amendment. Go ahead and lower your placards, flash hands. If you are voting no, please raise your hand. Abstentions? Please raise your hand. Then, in a 23-0 to 2 vote, this bylaw amendment is adopted. With that being said, there's no further old business, so we'll proceed onwards to announcements. Are there any announcements? Senator Bahani. Sorry, Senator Woldekai.
Sure. So I want to announce that from starting this fall, advising centers with the advising department would offer walk-ins in each department. So there would be a time limits for everyone. It won't be the same date, but if you want to fully engage an appointment, you need to have you need to call or do appointment. There would be brief questions that you could go and ask any advising centers.
Any other announcements? Seeing no further announcements, we'll proceed onwards to roll call. Senator Hart?
Here.
Senator Henson?
Here.
Senator Chisholm? Senator Brawley? Senator Brawley? Senator Ali?
Here.
Senator Sharab?
Here.
Senator Woldekaiden?
Here.
Senator Ziti? Senator Nguyen? Senator Bryant? Senator Aisha? Senator Aisha? Senator Kanza? Senator Goma?
Here.
Senator Mohammed?
Oh, here.
Senator Aladeji? Senator Leistikow? Senator Andrew?
Here.
Senator Revere? Senator Revere? Senator Godswell? Senator Bahania? Senator Bahania? Senator Preek? Senator Narala? Senator Jha? Senator Speltz?
Here.
Senator Beckerman? Senator Colleran? Senator Emma Lee?
Oh, here?
Sorry, I'll get your last name correct. I forgot to write it down, so I apologize for that. Senator Roberts? Sorry, Speaker Roberts. I'm with it. President Riker. Vice President Vesta.
Here.
Thank you all. We are adjourned at 4:45.
Can you wait for a second for a response to
It's all right with
tell the
you?
labs?
For the Senate roster.
Oh, yes.
So, this is just a headshot. 1, 2, 3.